More reaction today to Governor Noem's budget address. The governor laying out some of her legislative proposals to state lawmakers yesterday, including a 4% raise for teachers, healthcare providers, and state employees. Brian Allen joining us now from the First Alert Now desk with more on the governor's budget. Hey, Brian.
Hello there, Sam. The governor pointing out that her budget focuses on prioritizing people, but in that address, she also challenged state lawmakers to return to conservative spending. The 4% increase is lower than previous years, where the governor asked for 6 and 7% raises. But it does remain above the 3% threshold for teachers that's laid out in state law. We spoke with House Majority Leader Will Mortensen about the proposal, and the peer Republican tells us, aside from the last 2 years, this would be the largest raise for the big three groups in about 2 decades.
4% is what our state can afford. We have a balanced budget requirement. It actually goes over and above in education funding what is in statute. And so I was excited that the governor made that a priority. Think about it, it's her job to propose a budget, and it's our job to actually pass one. So in the next couple months, we'll go through that budget line by line to make sure every taxpayer dollar is accounted for.
South Dakota Democrats say the pay increase is not enough. They are calling for 5% increases. They say the state's cost of living adjustments have not kept up with inflation. Live from the First Alert Now desk, Brian Allen, Dakota News Now.
More reaction today to Governor Noem's budget address. The governor laying out some of her legislative proposals to state lawmakers yesterday.
Yeah, Andrea Anderson joins us live from the First Alert Now desk with more tonight. Andrea.
Brian and Sam, Governor Noem told state lawmakers that their #1 priority should be South Dakota's kids and grandkids. But some Democrats say her address didn't live up to that statement. The governor's proposal calls for funding more family treatment foster homes for kids who have significant emotional or medical needs, as well as more support for families after they choose to adopt. Governor Noem also mentioned using federal funds to expand the Bright Start program, which helps mothers and their babies both before and after birth. Meantime, Democrats say there are a few omissions with the governor's proposal.
Again, the governor says she has a commitment to our kids and our grandkids, but there was nothing in her speech about child care. There was nothing in her speech about providing breakfast and lunch at our schools. There was nothing in her speech about summer EBT to make sure that kids are fed. And so there's so much more that can be done to ensure that our children continue to grow up and thrive in South Dakota. And so it's mostly those things that were left out were the biggest disappointment.
Right now, 9 states provide free meals to students. Senate Minority Leader Reynold Nessepa says South Dakota can do it for less than $40 million. Live at the First Alert Now desk, Andrea Anderson, Dakota News Now. Brian. More reaction today to Governor Noem's budget address. The governor laying out some of her legislative proposals to state lawmakers yesterday. Sam Wright is standing by at the First Alert Now desk with more on this. Hey there, Sam.
Hey, Andrea. Yesterday's budget address was a preview of some of the governor's legislative priorities. More of her agenda will likely come out as we get closer to the state of the session next month. There was one omission that stood out to several lawmakers. No mention of a tuition freeze for the state's public universities. Governor Noem and lawmakers have approved tuition freezes each of the previous 2 sessions. The Board of Regents calling for another freeze ahead of the upcoming session. Senate Majority Leaders Will Mortensen will say that he's keeping the cost of the college low in South Dakota, and that remains a priority.
Last few years, we've been able to freeze tuition while the states around us have made college more and more and more expensive. We've really held the line, even in a big inflationary situation. It was not in the governor's budget to keep those costs down on students, but it remains a priority of a lot of us.
The governor's budget proposal does include another request from the Board of Regents. That is $6 million in one-time funding for a Center for Quantum Information Science and Technology. Live at the First Alert Now desk, Sam Wright, Dakota News Now.
Thank you, Sam.